Thank you all for joining us for the third Cultural Districts Program Technical Assistance webinar. As you probably already know, my name is Francesca Vega. I'm the director of the state's Cultural Districts Program. Again, thank you all for being here. I see local government people as well as our liaison, so that's exciting. As you come in, we'll be turning on your cameras and microphones. Let us know in the chat if you're having difficulties. I'm sorry, Kathy, I'm not sure what's going on there. But you are welcome to ask questions throughout Suzanne's presentation. She does prefer a dialogue format, so feel free to chime in as she's going along if you have any questions. And I will let Leah Russell introduce herself, and then Suzanne will introduce herself and get started.
Good morning. My name is Leah Russell. I work alongside Francesca in the Division of the Arts. I'm the Director of Arts Education and Accessibility. It's a pleasure to be here today. I'm just sitting in and helping with technical aspects of the call. And I look forward to learning from you all and learning from Suzanne and hopefully getting to partner with some of you and expand your arts education and arts learning in your communities within the cultural districts.
Thank you, Leah and Francesca. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
This has been about a 4-year process. And when Francesca asked me to do this, I said, oh, yes, I would love to. So let's get started. I titled this From Decline to Shine, How to Revive a Cultural District. And like I said, this was a very long process, but let's just get going. So first of all, our mission statement, I mean, you can read all that if you want to. It's basically make the arts, performing arts, all the arts, visual arts, make that a part of our community and to grow that and to make Manny a destination place for people who want to take advantage of the arts. And we have a huge artist community, that people that paint and photography and jewelry making, crafts, just all kinds of those kinds of arts. And we've always had a pretty good music program, but as far as performing arts, we've just recently brought that back. So it's important that you have a mission statement. It's like a roadmap of where do you want to go. So that's the first thing that we did. And I have to say, in this 4-year period, we changed administration 3 years ago. So that's when a lot of our changes got made. So let's see, why is it not going to my next slide? Okay. All right. So one of the questions that you need to answer are, who are your supporters for your cultural district? And your supporters can also be your opponents. So at the time I started working for the town of Manny in March of 2020, the mayor and the council pretty much supported it, but it was very limited in the activities that were brought to the town for the residents and visitors to partake of. One thing I need to preface all this with, I didn't think about it, but Toledo Bend Lake is right here to our west. And so we're kind of a gateway community to the lake. And twice, 2 years in a row, the lake was deemed the best bass lake in the country 2 years in a row. So we have lots of people coming in to take advantage of fishing tournaments and camping and water sports. We've got 2 state parks here. And so we wanted to give something for the people whose like husbands and boyfriends and whatnot were fishing in the tournaments, give the families something to do. So the supporters, mayor, council, merchants, we have a lot of professional services here in town. And like I said, those people in that list can also be your opponents. So when I took over doing grants and things for the town of Manny, our community center, which used to be the Sabine Theater, it was just plain in the front. So we commissioned an artist to come in and paint some murals on the front of the building. And so it really spruced it up. And our sign there, the Sabine Theater sign's been up there since the building was built in the early 40s. And we pay a king's ransom every now and then to get the neon filled. I'm still looking for a different sign. So what we had in the beginning and when I started was just movies and music, and it was free admission, and popcorn and drinks were $1 a piece. Well, flash forward to now with inflation and all that, we still sell popcorn and water for $1, but drinks and candy are now $2. So that at least covers our expenses there. But what we've also added to the cultural district is our Citizen Life poster art contest.
Hello.
We'll have, I think Friday, yes, Friday's the last day to turn in the posters for the contest, and then the artists around town will pick the one, and that'll be our Christmas poster contest. We also have every year, we partner with the SPA, the Sabine Prevention Alliance, and we do student art contests. We do that in January, judge them in February. We get people to supply cash prizes. The first place prize is $100 for the senior high school division. And the not motto, tagline or whatever for SPA is to keep our youth safe, sober, and successful. And we've always had hundreds and hundreds of entries for that art contest. So that's always fun. And then we display the winners in some of the buildings or some of the windows downtown in the businesses. And then we just finished this last weekend, our Broadway Night at the Theater, which was a fundraiser for our Young Artist Program. Cane River Theater has made their home here in our community center in the Sabine Theater, and they've brought lots of live stuff to the stage and are continuing to work on a play for the fall. But we did this fundraiser and probably made $600, $700, $800. I have to finish counting the money. Okay, so what else? I just mentioned that the Cane River Theater and the Youth Drama Club is supported by the Sabine Parish Youth Drama Club is supported by the school board. However, they don't give them any money. They do 2 live shows, 2 live plays a year, but the school board does help us out with utilities for the time that the kids are using the theater to practice and do their shows. We brought back, for years, there was a gentleman here who's now deceased, but he had the Arklatex music show, and that went on for years. And I went to many of them since I've been living here, which is 22 years. But anyways, we brought that back summer before last, and it was so well attended. We had different musical artists from around the area and just did different shows. We had really good sponsors. Of course, it was free, donations only. But we had great door prizes and stuff. So that got the people in there too. And then we did a fundraiser for the Sabine High School Restoration Project. We did a Motown matinee last year and cobbled together 3 different bands. We had horns, we had backup singers. I was the only white backup singer, and it was so much fun. Let me tell you what, Motown is great. Anyways, I wish somebody would have filmed that. And we're doing a rock and roll show next month. One of our, the Stewart family is a bluegrass/gospel group, and they always do 2 concerts, one in July, their patriotic review, and then at Christmas time. But they wanted to do a rock and roll show. So we said, sure. And they never charge us. It's always a fundraiser. We were able to pass $1,800 worth of donations from our 4th of July show with the Stewart family to the Wounded Warrior Project. So that was like the biggest amount of donations that we've ever sent back. But again, this is all happening at our little theater in the community center in our cultural district. So the rock and roll show, they're going to donate those donations to the Kiwanis Club. And then the tourist and chamber has a power hour every quarter, and they've used the community center for that as well. So what happened when our administration changed? Well, we had two different committees at the time, and there was about, I would say 80% of the same people on both committees. We had a cultural district committee and we had a historical committee. And on the cultural district side, there was, they would plan events to have at the theater, like the shows or movies or whatever, and the Christmas parade until COVID shut that down. And then also, at the time I worked with them and got our cultural district expanded to include the Sabine High School restoration project, which will be a community center, huge community center for the region once it's finished. And we've gotten a couple $1 million worth of grants, the SHSRP, to do that. Anyway, so we had, and then on the historical committee, there was a group that was working on taking our old KCS train depot, making a museum out of it. Well, I was on that committee. I wasn't on the cultural district committee. And for about 10 years, the museum was talked about, but nothing was ever done. So when the new mayor came in, it just made sense to take the cultural district committee and the historical district committee, combine them. Some people dropped out. We had probably a dozen, 12, 15 to 20 people joined after we blended those two committees into one, and it became the Events and Manny Committee. Anything that happens in Manny is within the cultural district, because we've got the depot, which is the south part. We've got the community center, which is the northern part of town. And then on the east side of town is the Sabine High School restoration project. So we just combined the two former committees into one. Well, this is what we've been able to do since Robert took over, our new mayor. Well, he's not new anymore, but in July of 2021. We now have a Mardi Gras parade in January. We have the first Saturday in April is our Bloom on Main, which is a springtime festival, and people that have plants and outdoor decorations, farmers with their different wonderful fruits and vegetables come out, vendors, food trucks, arts and crafts, bakers. I mean, you name it, you can probably find it there at Bloom on Main. And then in the summertime, we open up the square across from City Hall, and that's our farmers market. And it's first come, first serve. You set up, you sell, you go away. And that's just made available by the town. We do a back to school rally every year for students and pack backpacks full of school supplies. Of course, that's all free. It's all donated. And then in October, we have our Fall Fest for kids, and all the churches participate in that. And there's food trucks that come. The churches set up different games and booths. There's cakewalk, and everything is geared toward the kids with the bouncy houses and all that, and free popcorn and cotton candy. And then, like I said, we have the food trucks. We have concerts and movies and plays now throughout the year. When I first moved here 22 years ago, we had a very active Sabine players. They were live drama. They did 2 or 3 plays a year. And as those people got older, retired, moved away, died, that live drama it quit. But we've got it back now, and it's very well attended. And then at Christmas, we always have a theme based on, we say what the theme, like this year is Candyland Christmas. I don't remember. The title is like this whoops, really long. Anyways, it's Candyland. So last year we had the Grinchmas, and this year's Candyland. The first year in 21, it was a hometown Christmas, and so the Christmas festival lasts almost a month with different activities, a poster unveiling, the lighting of the Christmas tree across from City Hall, the Moonlight Madness, which is the stores stay open late downtown, and people can shop local. So on this side here are some of the things that go along that the Christmas subcommittee takes care of: the poster contest, the poster unveiling, lighting the town tree, which is absolutely huge. I wish I had a picture of the mayor's wife in the bucket truck decorating the tree, which is about 30 feet high. Somebody caught the picture, but I never did get it. I did see it, and there's no way. I mean, you could put a gun to my head, I would not be up that high. Scares me. Anyway, so then we started the Christmas pageant. Not being from the South, I did not realize how important pageants were to the culture in Louisiana. I know now, and I have nothing to do with it. And then we have our Christmas parade, which is, hey, if you want to do it, I don't get that. Anyway, so then we have our Christmas parade, which is in the afternoon. And then following that, everybody goes to the fairgrounds where we have vendors set up, and the giveaways that are donated, TVs, bikes, just iPads, things that people donate and businesses donate to give away during the Christmas festival. And then we cap it off with fireworks at dark. And I already mentioned the Moonlight Madness. So where's all this take place? I don't know, in the Cultural District. Silly. Okay, so these are
Suzanne, I have a question right quick.
Hit me.
So it seems like the community is very involved in this work. Like, it's certainly not you as the orchestrator of all the cool things happening as
Nope.
part of it. But how do you inspire community members to get involved, and who helps you if you're not the only one doing it?
Repeat the last part of that question.
Who helps you?
Well, the mayor's wife, who is also a business owner, is very active, and she has enlisted the help, and people have just jumped on board. The first time that we did the Christmas thing after Mayor Habel came on board in Christmas of 21, people around town saw the changes and saw people. It was like people saw people getting involved, and they wanted to get involved. So Crystal, with her creativity and people that she knew with creativity, she recruited them. Well, then all of us that work here at City Hall started recruiting our friends. And so now it's just, I mean, there's about 15 people that consistently come to the events committee, but there's way more people that work on the different events than even come to the events committee. And like, there's one girl, I don't even know her name. I couldn't tell you what she looks like. She's the pageant queen, and she takes care of all that. And then she gets help from her people that she knows, her network of friends, and they do this pageant, which is incredible. So when people see things good happening in the community, they get excited and they want, oh, can I help out with this? I've had people call me and ask, hey, what can I do to help? Oh, well, let's see. Oh, I'm sure we can find something for you to do. So it's like excitement begets excitement. Does that make sense? Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you, Suzanne.
I just get my fingers in it, and they come to me and say, oh, we need grants for this, this, and this. Oh, okay. Well, then I go to my network of people who are, the CEO of SWEPCO, our power provider, is a very good friend of mine. And I know the big guys at Clico, the other electrical company, and the gas company. So I hit those utility companies and some of the big employers to get money. We just got a $5,000 grant from one of the oil pipeline people that are here building for our Christmas stuff. So it's not just me. I'm just a little teeny weeny part of it. There's many people working behind the scenes. And what's really interesting, because I've been in business all of my life, is that nobody wants to have the recognition, oh, so and so did this or so and so did that. Everybody just pulls together and has the wagon going in the same direction. It's kind of, it's different, but I love it. So this is the inside of the theater, where we've had birthday parties in there. People will rent the theater and have all their friends come in and do a birthday party. Of course, we have our concerts and live theater and that. And then on the right side is a picture that I took one day. There was a rainbow over the depot, and I was like, oh, that might come in handy at a later time. So after having talked about having the depot as a historic museum, I mean, it's on the historic register, but to have a museum and an event center there, after Mayor Habel came in, one of my coworkers and I worked from August of 21 until February of 23. It took us a year and a half, and we built the museum. We got people that donated things to the museum. So in the middle of the train depot is our museum. And we also built a train room because it's a train depot. So in one of the big rooms that was formerly a waiting room is now a huge train table with a depiction of Sabine Parish built with models and trains. I did all the painting on the buildings and that we put together. I didn't put them together. I'm spatially challenged, but I can paint. So I painted all the models. Somebody else put them together. Somebody else took the models and placed them on the train table. So I didn't think to take a picture or to put a picture of that in there, but it's really cool. And kids love it. Oh, and then the other room, this little picture here, was one of the decorations. There's a lady that does most of the decorations. This little rental room will seat about 40 and with tables, and there's an outside covered portico, I call it, where they used to back the wagons in on the brick to unload, put stuff on the train, take stuff off the train back in the 1800s, early 1900s. And then in this picture right here, this is our Sabine Singer-Songwriter Circle. It's open to artists of every kind, but a lot of musicians from all around the region come and they perform their original music and poetry and visual arts. And of course, we don't charge anything for that. That just gets people into our cultural district and into our town. And then we also rent that room out. That's our little event room. And then we have Main Street. We got in trouble during COVID because we blocked San Antonio Avenue, which just happens to be LA Highway 6. But we would block it and have street dances. And the bands would set up in front of the theater, use the electric from there. And we closed off the street at both ends of town, which is like all of 3 blocks. And we would have cornhole tournaments, 5K runs, vendors, food trucks, games, and of course, live music and dancing. Well, we couldn't do that anymore. So we went 1 block to the south, and that's Main Street. That's the name of the street, Main Street. So everything happens now on Main Street. We can't close the state highway for some reason. They don't like that. So this is our Easter bunny. This was from last year's Bloom on Main, and Miss Mary is one of our council ladies, and she does all the contracts for the theater. She and I work together really closely for anything that happens. I say theater, community center, same thing. And then the square across from City Hall is just this great big large empty concrete lot that's 2 levels. This is the upper level right here where we had, this was last year, the Christmas tree and the little Santa sled or whatever and the Grinch. So a lot of things happen right there. And then this is inside City Hall. We have Santa Claus in here for like 2 weeks. Kids from all the schools come, the little kids come, they see Santa, sit on his lap, and then they walk down to the theater in the next block and watch Christmas movies. So that's a big deal for the little kids in town. So this is kind of going forward what we want to do, and we want to make some improvements, and that is getting into the Main Street program. I've been to a lot of Main Street conferences. They're amazing. I know there's grants just for Main Street people, and since I'm the grant writer, I'm kind of money oriented. What can I get to help us go forward? So we want to, we're going to start with the Lanyap program, and then my goal before I semi-retire, but once again next year, is to be fully a Main Street program. And I think we figured out how to have a director paid by 3 different entities, and that's what's been hanging us up. But I think we got that worked out. I see the mayor going, yep, I hear what she's saying. Okay, so what we've got to do in order to get the Main Street thing is to get buy-in from all the cultural district businesses. We have retail, we have real estate, we have attorneys, we have different kind of clothing stores and things. And so we have a lot of merchants and professionals right here downtown. And then businesses that are located not on the main drag. We've also worked out, and I haven't sent out letters yet, but we've worked out this tiered giving program where, like we do for Christmas, when we solicit donations for the Christmas festival, there's like a platinum giver, platinum, gold, silver, bronze, whatever. And then we've come up with the perks that we could offer. Like if you're a platinum giver and you've donated $5,000 to happenings in the cultural district, well, you'll get 6 free tickets to use either for one event for 6 people or 2 tickets for 3 events, whatever. T-shirts, free advertising. We have a huge social media presence. And so these are just some of the little different perks, and I'm working with the media and marketing person on the tourist commission to help me come up with all this because I'm not creative. But Kelsey, who was my former student when she was in 7th grade, she's amazing. Okay, so why have we been successful and why have we increased and been able to increase our offerings in the last 3 years? Well, the mayor doesn't micromanage everything. He knows that we know what we're doing. And I'm not just talking about the culture district. I'm talking about all of our services, water, sewer, garbage, the clerk, the payroll clerk, all the people that work for the town, and there's probably getting close to 50 of us. He lets us do our job. He says, you guys have been in this, you know what you're doing, go for it. And he always makes comments to people, and he said it to me 1,000 times, Suzanne, you don't even have a box. You think so far outside the box. There's no box. You're not in a box. So he said, you're like a racehorse that took the bit and took off. Keep going. He said that at a Christmas party, and I was like, okay. But you have to be, I'm not creative when it comes to like doing things, but I'm creative in other ways, I guess. Anyway, so he lets us do our job. Now, his wife, Crystal, we call her the first lady. She's so creative. Her friends are creative, and really, it's been with the influence of the mayor, who is also a businessman. He runs the car dealership right down the street, been the general manager there for 25 years. They both have been in the community a long time. Crystal's lived here all her life, and they have people that they've known, and everyone's just come together to work together. I don't know, I'm not articulating it very well, but we've got a core group of people with the mayor and the first lady in the center, and then it just kind of mushrooms out from there. And like I said, he lets us do our job. So the why of that, why all the changes? Well, it's because we changed administration. In the former administration, it was pretty much my way or the highway. And I know personally I was thrown under the bus many, many times in the year that I worked with the prior mayor, but it didn't stop me from doing what I do. I just, took the lick and kept on going. But the town was pretty much, like I said, I've been here 22 years, and the town was not growing. There were people leaving. There weren't people moving in. There was businesses closing. We had empty buildings. We had at one time 6 or 7 empty storefronts on our main street on San Antonio. And so it was time for change. And so I was hired full-time as the contract grant writer. I didn't want to mess up my Social Security, so I couldn't become an employee. But anyways, I've been working for the town since March of 2020 and became full-time when all the COVID money was given out. And so I helped our residents get their unemployment, get their food stamps, get the town and the sheriff's department and other entities that I also continue to work for, COVID reimbursement for their entities. And so the first thing that Miss Mary and I worked on was doing the cultural district stuff when I first started. So I juggled the whole COVID response with the cultural district, and then I was able to find these grants, like the LA Project grant, which was the decentralized arts grant through Shreveport Regional Arts Council. So I was able to identify that and get grants for our cultural district there from the CLCF, Central Louisiana Community Foundation. They have opportunity grants. Private foundations I've reached out to and have received grants for. So pretty much the anything that happens in the cultural district, the town's cost share of that is paying me and utilities. And that's pretty much all we have to do. Because like I said, we get a lot of funding from outside sources. So the wish list for the future, like I told Leah when I opened up my little envelope of goodies here that she sent me, we want to start the Poetry Out Loud competition. And something that I've wanted since day one are murals on a lot of the walls that we have, brick walls. We can do them on plywood, do them on vinyl. The gentleman that did the workshop a few months ago, the artist that talked about doing the murals, that was very inspiring. I've reached out to a bunch of my artist friends, and they're on board. So it's just a matter of renting the bucket truck, getting the supplies donated, maybe finding some funding to pay them for their time to do the murals. But right outside my office is a brick wall, and it's a 2-story brick building, which is our police department's downstairs, blank wall. And I would like to see on there, welcome to historic downtown Manny. We do have 3 different buildings on the street on the historic register. So, and the Poetry Out Loud competition, I've got a lot of friends that are still teachers. I've been in recovery for 4 years from being a middle school teacher, and I'm doing well. But anyways, I'm going to reach out to my English teacher friends and say, hey, we want to start this. Are you interested? Will you partner with us? And I must say the school board superintendent and I started teaching together back in 2008 at the same school. And he always tells people, yeah, Suzanne and I were peons back in the day together. So he's one of my best friends. And so he pretty much gives me whatever I ask for. But anyways, I know he'll come on board with that. He partners with us for the SPA poster contest. And like I said, they support the drama club without funding. That's all I had to say. That's me and the Grinch last year at the Christmas parade. I was involved with the sheriff in a skit for the Christmas parade, and I was driving the sheriff in his truck with the SWAT team behind us, and we came to a stop in front of City Hall, and the Grinch pulled me out of the truck and jumped in the truck and was fighting with the sheriff, and then the SWAT team jumped out of their vehicle. We did that twice in the parade. It was just a cute little skit where the Grinch tried to get the sheriff, but the SWAT team arrested the Grinch. So just fun stuff. Questions? Comments? Anyone? Mayor?
Everyone should be able to take their mics off, or turn your mics on rather, if you have any questions for Suzanne. I have a question, Suzanne. Oh wait,
Okay.
looks like there's one in the chat. Hang on, let me do that one first.
Oh, thanks, Cassie.
Yeah, how do you ensure that your good work continues even if there is a change in leadership? That was great, by the way. She said.
I don't have an answer for that, but I will let you know this. The mayor announced to us last weekend he had us all out to his in-laws lake house for barbecue, and he did announce that he was going to do this one more time, 4 more years. He's going to rerun in March, and there's absolutely no question that he won't be reelected. He was totally going to be reelected, and so by the end of his next term, I promised him his first 4 years. I told him after July of next year, we can renegotiate. I've been asking for a long time for him to let me bring somebody up to do what I do. But that hasn't happened yet because nobody wants to work for free, which is okay. I don't know what's going to happen. Who knows? I don't know. I know though, with continued leadership and the group that we've got now that's so active in doing things for entertainment, lack of another word, around town, that'll continue for at least the next 4.5 years. After that, it's anybody's guess. But by then, hopefully, I'm a published author, raking in gazillions of dollars, living on the island of Cozumel and diving every day. So it doesn't really, I just hope somebody, yeah, right. I just hope somebody has the passion and the drive and the lack of a confining box to step in and keep this stuff going. But really, you know what? It all hinges on the administration. So you can make all the plans you want. The next administration after Robert that comes in might say, Cultural District, we don't want it. What good is it? I pray to God that doesn't happen, but anything can happen, right? So there's your non-answer, Cassie.
And Cassie, sorry you're having trouble with your mic. Thanks for asking that question though. Anyone else have any questions?
I had a question. This is Amanda from Main Street. Hi, Suzanne.
Hey,
I had to take a phone call. So I missed a little bit of this, but you referenced working with your business owners in the cultural district and getting their support. And I'm just curious how you've gone about that, and have you met any opposition, and tell me more about that.
Well, pretty much just go knock on the door and talk to them. Just walk in. It's hard to say no to somebody's face, I think. Of course, I started with our own town attorney, said, hey, Chris, would you like to make a donation to do this or that in the cultural district? And he always hands me a check for $100. So I thought, well, okay, we're doing this last year when we did the Motown show, and we needed people to help us pay the musicians who came from Shreveport. We had a horn section from a band out of Shreveport, and then we had our drummer came from somewhere, Alexandria or something. So we needed to pay those musicians who had to travel, and then our sound and light guy. But I just went door to door and got donations and ended up with like $500 to pay everybody. And then we donated another $600 or $700 to the Sabine High School revitalization project. So we had gotten over $1,000 in donations. And when I would explain what we're doing and why we were doing it, it's like people wanted to give me money. So I took it. And there again, when I don't want to call any names, but our attorney was very generous. I went across the street to another attorney's office and got $35. But hey, $35 is $35, right? So it adds up. And then also, I tell you another thing, Walmart is a huge player with us. They, in fact, are upstairs. I was up there looking for some records last week. Not records, but paper records. And I saw boxes and boxes and boxes of clothes and shoes still have the price tags on. When they are changing out from one season to the next, guess where all that surplus stuff comes? Comes to City Hall. We've got churches that set up outside of my office here, right in the lobby of City Hall. There's a place where people can come and get baby supplies and diapers, and people are bringing those things in. We've got boxes of those behind the screen, which is out there. So we get so much from Walmart, including cash. We have a shop with the cop thing every year at Walmart, and they usually give us $2,500 to $3,000 in what do you call them, gift cards. And we find from the teachers or in the parish who are the most needy of the kids. And then all those names go into a hat. They pull out the names, contact the kids, boom, take them to Walmart, and they shop with a cop and get Christmas presents for their families and whatever. And then now, because of the relationship between the town and the police department and Walmart, they've been giving us boxes of shoes and clothes that we can just give out to people who need them. So it's amazing, people that want to come on board, and some of the food places, they donate. Like for our Kiwanis Club, this is a perfect example. I don't know if you're all familiar with Kiwanis, but it's a civic club organization that concentrates on making the world a better place, one kid at a time, and then focus on those activities to help those kids, mentor them. We just started a terrific kids program. Our first annual project is coming alongside the alternative school and helping with their PBIS. What is that?
Behavior interventions.
Thank you. Yes. Positive PBIS, positive behavior intervention system. I don't know what it is, but every month the kids, now the alternative school is where the kids goes when they get suspended from their school or about to be expelled. They come to right here in town. It's 2 blocks down the street from City Hall. So we have kids from
positive behavior interventions and support.
That's it. Yeah. Okay, so what Kiwanis Club is going to do, and what we're going to do is help those monthly PBIS rewards for those kids, like making Valentine cookies and carameled apples in the fall and painting pumpkins and providing them pizza and just different things like that. And we've had community members already donating to that. And like I mentioned before, the Willie Stewart concert rock and roll on September 28th, all those proceeds will go toward the Kiwanis Club to help the kids. So, sorry, my train just derailed. What was the question? Amanda.
Thanks. It was about getting the businesses support, but you answered it. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Suzanne, we have another question in the comments from Lisa Bartels. Was there any pushback or resistance when the Historical District and Cultural District Commissions were merged? And as a follow-up, was this merge required by the new administration or was it a suggestion?
There was no pushback. What we realized with the new administration was that people came on board and they were the same people on both of those different committees. The focuses were completely different. In the beginning, with the old administration, the historical committee was focused on getting a museum up and going in the old depot and having the train room. The event center was something we just thought about when one of the employees had a birthday party there, and boom, all of a sudden it's rented almost every weekend. So the rental fees that in that takes care of the utilities for the building. And I forgot to mention this, the art gallery occupies one end of that building, and they have their teaching room displays. They have their sales and things out of there. So there wasn't, when we realized it was the same people coming on 2 different nights a month for these meetings, it's like, what are we doing? Oh, and then in the meantime, new administration started the Events and Manning Committee. So now all of a sudden we've got 3 committees, 2 that the new mayor inherited, 1 that the new mayor and his wife put together, but we were all the same people. So we're like, what are we doing? Why are we giving up 3 nights a month to do one thing? So Robert, the mayor, said, why don't you just have one big committee? I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. You know, I can take my 2 nights a month back and do whatever I want to do after work. So that there was really no pushback. It was common sense. Nobody likes meetings. I mean, come on, really? A meeting? Well, I like meetings when they say, oh, by the way, we're giving you $2 million for your sewer project. That's why I was in Baton Rouge yesterday. I was at the CBDG workshop, and then they gave me the letter. You got $2 million to work with. Woohoo! But anyways, there was no pushback. It made sense, and it's worked. It's worked because every year we get more people involved with the events. Now we got the one, Events in Manning. Well, what do? We put on Events in Manning, and we promote the depot as a rental venue